I'm very pleased and honored to be interviewing Shari Brill, who is Senior Vice President, Director, Programming and Strategic Audience Analysis. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. How are you today?
Very good, thank you. And I'm very interested in starting off with your background. How did you get to where you are today?
Wow. Okay. I started out as an intern at Ted Bates Advertising, and then from there, while I still had a semester of school to complete, I was promoted to junior analyst and was promoted to supervisor in about 2.5 years, and worked my way through different ad agencies, moving up along the ranks through the years, and shifting my focus to more of video audience analysis versus general audience analysis. So it was much more focused on television and broadcast and basically anything that moves.
And how long have you been at Cara?
I've been at Cara 10.5 years.
Amazing.
So yes, a decade.
So you've been at agencies for a number of years. How would you say research and the role of research has changed at the agencies in your experience?
Well, the role of research has become increasingly complicated. Back when I started, there were just three broadcast networks commanding a 90 share, and now there are so many more viewing options. But a lot of the information is automated, and even though our media world has become far more complex and consumers have so much more freedom of choice and much more control, although I do argue that they've always been able to be the master of how they choose to use content. It's just a lot easier and a lot faster, and information just moves so quickly and gets processed so quickly. So clients want things faster and better. And unfortunately, on the agency side, there's been a systematic cutback of people who could really analyze the marketplace.
So what would you say the trend going forward is for agencies? Do you think that research value will be recognized? Do you think that it's reversible?
I think it is definitely recognized at CARA, which is the reason I've been here as long as I have. We realize that the consumer is at the center of everything, and research is at the center of understanding what drives consumers' intent and media habits and purchase decisions.
Can you talk about some of the research you're doing at CARA to understand the consumer?
Yes, we have a proprietary model here which relates programming engagement to commercial exposure. We have a lot of existing data in the background through the years that confirms that the more involved the consumer is with content, the more involved they will be with the commercials contained therein. And this data has held up through the years despite the advent of DVRs and despite the advent of programming available online. It's something that is still true. And we've been working on updating our models to reflect the way consumers can get content.
Are there any results about engagement that has surprised you? And also, are there any truisms that you see just withstand the test of time?
Yes, consumers tend to seek out those products and services that are of interest to them. And even though you may buy broad, consumers are still seeing advertising messages despite the advent of the DVR and despite the advent of all the different ways that many people fear that consumers can evade messages. Consumers are interested in messages and information for products and services that interest them.